We have some news here on the right-wing pundit, Milo Yiannopoulos. RT is reporting, Milo was briefly suspended from Twitter after making anti-Islamic tweets just days before he was set to give a press conference on Islam at the site of the Orlando terrorist attack. He was suspended from the site on Wednesday morning for reasons that are still unclear. However, Yiannopoulos had been blasting Islam in the days following the shooting, saying that the religion is not compatible with gay rights, women's rights, and a free society, among other things. Now, one of the things that happened is a prominent Muslim user on Twitter with over 1 million followers apparently tweeted about Milo and how terrible he is and how bad he is, and he told some of his followers, hey, go after him. You know, like, troll the living shit out of him. So allegedly, he was spammed, and he got a bunch of hateful DMs as well, and his account was pulled. Now, again, it's unclear as to exactly why. Is it because he said unsavory things that people didn't like, so Twitter was like, oh, X-nay on the Milo's gay, and they just shut him down? Or is it because of something else, some sort of flagging or whatever, and he was pulled as a result of that? We don't know all the details or all the specifics. But thankfully, he ended up being reinstated. But my takeaway, man, is either way, I think Twitter has to do better than this. Because they also, for those who don't know this angle of the story, they also unverified him a while back, which is rare, and I'm actually not sure it ever really happens. Now, maybe I'm wrong and I missed some cases of it or whatever, but that seems like a dickish move. Like, the verification is supposed to be for people who hit a certain level of fame and they're at a point where people might be imposters of them or whatever. Yeah, there's no doubt that he's at that point, and he had the check mark, meaning they knew he was at that point, and then because they don't like the shit he says, they're like, okay, we're just going to get rid of it. Now, I get it. You don't have a right to a blue check mark. You know, nobody's arguing you do. But is it still just a dickish move because you don't like his politics? And by the way, I don't like his politics. But does that mean I would take away the check mark? Does that mean I would pull down his account? Now, by the way, he does go, in many respects, I would argue, way too far in his criticism of Islam. I despise Islam. I despise Christianity. I despise all religion. I think it's mythological and it's bullshit and it's fairy tales. But there's no doubt that he singles them out for special attention. And in fact, he is a Christian. So he thinks his mythological bullshit is dandy and it's right, but Islam is wrong. And he goes as far as he did a poll of his users. What would you rather your kid have, Islam or cancer? I think it was like 70% or 80% said cancer. Yeah, that's no longer a reasoned critique. That's just you guys being pricks. Like, again, I don't think you should be pulled at all, but you're just being an asshole there because what? Oh, it's impossible to be a moderate Muslim or a peace-loving Muslim. That's not true. Fucking Malala Yousafzai is a Muslim. She won a Nobel Peace Prize and is somebody who is idolized rightly by people all over the world, including in the West. So you can't take away her Muslim identity from her and just say, I think all of them are bad. But that's neither here nor there because either way, they shouldn't fucking pull down his account because you disagree with him. The whole idea of freedom of speech, and I'm not talking legally here because legally it just means the government can't censor you. A private company can do whatever the fuck they want. But the whole idea of it is it's there to protect the most odious and cretinous of ideas. You don't need free speech to say apple pie is delicious and rainbows are great. You know, you need free speech so that people can go out there and say preposterous things and say hateful things. Now, there is a line, and that line is direct threats of violence. That line is libel and slander, which is notoriously and rightly super hard to prove. But yes, you should be on the side of, I will defend to the death your right to say something even if I disagree with it. If you don't believe in free speech for those you disagree with the most, you don't believe in it at all. That's Noam Chomsky who said that. So this is not, it's not an open question. It's not a debatable thing. It's not like, oh, I guess I like it that he had his stuff pulled down because I disagree with him politically. No. We all stand up in solidarity and we say, of course this guy has a right to have his opinions heard. Of course he can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. He's not doing direct threats of violence. And even if you disagree with it massively, and I do disagree with the majority of his shit massively, that doesn't mean you get to pull it down. So, and if I was Twitter, I wouldn't have unverified him either. You're only feeding into his victim complex and on some level proving him right. Oh, you don't like conservative thought. Oh, you don't like, people like him. Therefore, it's justified for you to use the system against him. Unverify him. Take down his account. Fuck that. Fuck all that, man. Don't do that. And I want to be clear. So here I am doing a segment I honestly don't want to do, defending a guy I don't like, but it's the right thing to do because he has a right to say these things. But everybody should know he is a hypocrite. Okay, let me be perfectly clear about that. Because here he is portraying himself as a free speech warrior, a free expression warrior, a free press warrior, a First Amendment warrior. And who does he support for president? Donald Trump. Now, I hate Hillary Clinton. Everybody knows I hate Hillary Clinton, but I also hate Donald Trump. Why do I hate Donald Trump? Among many other reasons, he despises free speech and free expression and a free press. And that's not my opinion. That's a fact. So, as we've discussed before, he's threatened lawsuits against Bill Maher over a joke and against The Onion for jokes. So you don't get to say you're a free speech warrior, as many people in the anti-PC crowd say, when you support Donald Trump, who is the king of social justice warrior PC outrage. He just happens to do it from the right wing as opposed to the left wing, so they think it's all fine and dandy. They hate liberal college kids so much that they'll mirror the tactics of those liberal college kids with their censorship and their banning. A guy fucking sued over jokes. If a college kid who's liberal did that, they would mock him till the cows come home. But Donald Trump does it and they want him for president. They want him to lead the country. And then furthermore, again, as we've discussed before, Trump has said he wants to, quote, open up our libel laws to sue the media over stories that he doesn't like. Yeah, that is fundamentally against the Constitution and the First Amendment. And this is a guy who also just bans media outlets from his events that he doesn't like. So he did it to the Washington Post recently. And you could say they have a liberal bias. They're so against him that it's so bad. Not only has he banned so-called liberal outlets, he's banned centrist outlets, he's banned right-wing outlets. So you know what he does? He makes people fall in line. He's for censorship. He's for banning people that don't fucking agree with him. Oh, you said something critical of me? You are banned. This is a guy who wants to be president of a country that has the First Amendment, that protects free speech and free expression and a free press. And he's fundamentally against these things. So no, don't say I'm a free speech warrior and I'm crusading for these principles when you violate them whenever you think it's convenient. If you support Donald Trump, you're on the side of censoring and banning. You just want to censor and ban different people. And then as a final point here, dude, Milo is also a gay Christian who's against gay marriage. So he's out there now pretending he's a hero crusading for justice and like he's fighting for, the LGBT community. No, you're playing for team right wing. That's what you're doing. And you're still against gay marriage. You're still not for full LGBT equality. So yeah, it's a little ridiculous that you're out there pretending to be a hero. You're only against anti-gay things when the anti-gay mentality is from Muslims. Now, see, somebody like me, I'm consistent. I'm against an anti-gay mentality, not only when it's from Muslims and it's in its most vicious form and its most extreme form, I'm also against it when it's in its mild form in Christianity, where they say, hey, we're against gay marriage. Hey, we're against anti-discrimination laws that protect gay people. Milo is not for the anti-discrimination laws. He's not for gay marriage. So, no, you're not the antithesis of this anti-gay hatred. You're somewhere in the middle between the people who want to fucking slaughter gays and the people who want full rights for gays. So, again, while I'm totally on his side in terms of him being banned and him being unverified, of course you don't suspend him. They brought him back, by the way, a little bit after. But of course, even the temporary suspension is stupid. No, you don't suspend him. No, you don't unverify him. But let's all please keep in mind who and what this guy is, because he certainly ain't no fucking hero.